So the Oklahoma Sooners get to go through the month of June, get to go through the rest of the summer with supreme confidence, having just had not only a major recruiting event, but coming off of that event with a big-time pickup in four-star wide receiver Keyon Brown out the state of Florida. Today, we need to break down not only why this is such a great get for the Oklahoma Sooners, why this is a great schematic fit, but also what this means for the future of Oklahoma recruiting. You don't want to miss any of it. Before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I need to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited Keyon Brown joins the Oklahoma Sooners 23 class? And let me know what you're thinking. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, like and comment down below. And something we did the other day, I want to see if we can replicate. I want to see if we can get 50 subscribers off of this video by Wednesday. And if we do, I'll be putting together something very special for Oklahoma fans you don't want to miss. But having said all that, let's jump right into this because this is a big time pickup for the Oklahoma Sooners. A four-star wide receiver, Keyon Brown is someone who stands 6'3" and 188 pounds per 24/7 Sports. And when we really dive into why I think this is such a great schematic fit, we have to talk about Jeff Lebby and his stylistic preferences at the wide receiver position. Because if we dive into Jeff Lebby, it becomes apparent that he likes bigger body wide receivers that have some versatility to them. And if you're lucky enough to be able to find Keyon Brown's highlights, what you're going to find might surprise you. It's obvious he's a big body wide receiver, and thus his high school is using him as a deep threat. But that's not all he can do. This is a prospect that has some versatility to them. Because the first thing you'll notice if you find his highlights is that he's active on not only punt return, but on kick return. He's deadly as a deep ball threat, but they're giving him a lot in terms of short screen passes and letting him make a guy miss and then take it. And the one thing that really stood out to me, aside from his size and physicality, which you can't teach, was the burst he had. This is someone, when he gets the ball in his hands, he can make someone miss and get up to top speed much quicker than most other people can. And he's so tall that once he gets up to top speed, good luck catching him with those long strides. So this is an intriguing get for the Oklahoma Sooners, especially with the stylistic preference Jeff Lebby has for his wide receivers. And that's something I love. If you're a Jeff Lebby or if you're an Oklahoma fan, you have got to love that you've come into this situation and there hasn't been much time of this staff gelling together. They haven't even been together a year, but they have been so successful in both the transfer portal and in recruiting at identifying and getting in guys that they like. That is a great sign. And Keyon Brown is addition number 5 for the Oklahoma Sooners class of 2023. And if you hear that and you're thinking, man, we're really behind the curve there, I wouldn't fret at all. It is so early in the process. There's so much further to go. I wouldn't worry about where you are now. If you're still not where you'd like to be come October, come November, we can have a different conversation. But right now, way too early to worry about where you're ranked in terms of recruiting. But focusing back on Keyon Brown and what he brings to the table, before we move on to why this is so big for Oklahoma recruiting in the future, the last point I'll leave you with in regards to Keyon Brown is this. Whenever you have a big body wide receiver with the versatility Keyon Brown has, it makes complete sense that Jeff Lebby would want to add that individual in. Because if you can pair him with other wide receivers with stylistic differences, you can really keep a defense on their heels. Because you're not sure whether Keyon Brown could go deep or he could take a quick pass. That right there makes a defense guess and it makes them assume. And Jeff Lebby is going to be running an offense that takes advantage of a defense's assumption. So I love this get for the Oklahoma Sooners and their class, which is really going to shake up to be an interesting class. But now let's talk about why this is so big for Oklahoma recruiting in the future. This is great for the now, but what does it mean for the future? And something I talk about consistently is pipelines, pipelines, pipelines. And specifically pipelines to the state of Florida. Because if we look at the talent in high school football, there is a disproportionate amount of talent located in 2 states, Texas and Florida. If we look at the top 300 players per 24/7 Sports in all of high school football, 107 of them come from those 2 states, 50 from the state of Texas and 57 from the state of Florida. And I apologize if you've watched my videos before and heard me give this exact soliloquy, but I give it over and over again to drive home the point. It is incredibly necessary to have a presence in the state of Florida. Something Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners have been very successful at. that, but it does do them a ton of good to continue that pipeline, and especially continuing the pipeline with a wide receiver prospect such as Keyon Brown that fits schematically so closely to what Jeff Lebby wants to do. I think this is a great addition for the Oklahoma Sooners, especially when you look at who the players were after Keyon Brown. This is an individual that had just received an offer to the Alabama Crimson Tide, and we know how successful Alabama has been at not only recruiting the wide receiver position, but developing the wide receiver position. Their results have been staggering, and for Oklahoma to be able to get a prospect that just received that offer and that has received so many offers from so many top-tier institutions, I think it says a lot, because Keyon Brown did not wait to commit to Oklahoma. When he got that offer, it did not take long, and I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, if you're Brent Venables, you have to love what that means for where your class is heading. But because of that, I can't wait to hear from y'all. Hop down in the comments, let me know what you're thinking about this. That's it. See ya.